So today's video is going to be about Buster Blader. No, okay. Yeah. Waifu dance? Okay. It is time once at last to talk about the girl. Which girl? Dark Magician girl. She is the best girl in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so, to those of you that are still watching this after what the hell that just was, yeah, so Dark Magician Girl, right? I'm doing this video now for a few reasons. Number one, Funko just released their Yu-Gi-Oh! Line of pop figurines, and they released 4 of them. And which ones did they release? Well, they released Kaiba and his trademark card, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. They released Yugi, and the 4th one was not the Dark Magician. See, they know their audience, and they know how to make money. They released the Dark Magician Girl first. You definitely put her foot forward before you put the Dark Magician, which she was modeled after, forward. You know what I mean? Even though I always felt like Dark Magician was sort of like the Pikachu of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that's supposed to be like the mascot because it's the main character's main monster that he always uses. You could maybe throw an example of like Blue Eyes White Dragon also being a, mascot of the series. But let me tell you what, when they decided to introduce the Dark Magician Girl, and I don't know exactly how that meeting went, I really liked, this is probably not how it went down, probably, but I really like to picture a bunch of Japanese guys sitting around a table being like, all right, so we need to inject a little bit more fan service into the anime. I mean, we have Taya, but she's, okay. We have Mai, but she doesn't always show up all that often. And someone else probably brought up, is like, yeah, well, you see, the show isn't really about action. It's about, card games, and the action inside of those card games. And so someone's like, hey, what if we invented, like, a really sexy card, and we put it in Yugi's deck, and then Yugi used it, like, a lot? What if we did something like that? And they're like, oh, man, that's genius. But what kind of card could we possibly create? And someone else at the table had just, he came in late because he was watching like Madoka Magica last night, and he's like, Magician Girls, they're amazing. And they're like, do it. Let's activate the Rule 63 spell card. Let's convert the Dark Magician, give him a sex change, and bam! Dark Magician Girl in all of her splendor was created. This is one of the few times where I can actually understand the hype. She is totes adorable to me. I don't know if it's just the blonde hair, the blue and pink accents. I don't know. She really is legitimately cutesy to me, alright? So, yeah. This is a character that is, this is a card that has actually become its own character over the years. She has been prevalent in the Waking the Dragons arc, where she took on, like, she was the mascot for, like, the spirit world of Duel Monsters, which is actually kind of interesting when you think about it, because in the first series of Yu-Gi-Oh!, with Yugi as the protagonist and Kaiba and everything, it was implied several times throughout the entire story, in the canon of, like, the actual, taking adaptations from the manga, that, these aren't just pieces of paper. These are cards that have their own will and everything. But I think it wasn't until, like, the Waking the Dragons filler arc when that was expressly shown. Like, no. There's a straight-up other dimension filled with these things, with these duel monsters, right? And then later on, that was expanded upon in... not just in the Millennium World arc with the Ba and the Ka and everything, but it was also expanded on in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX with, like, the dual spirits and all that stuff. And so Dark Magician Girl was one of the first, like, spirits, that appeared, and she was sort of like the one that guided Yugi and Kaiba and Joey, like, you must free the legendary dragons and bring peace to our land. This is also the source of one of my favorite all-time jokes from Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series by Little Karibo. If you haven't watched it, what the hell are you doing? It's been out on YouTube for like over a decade now. They just released the last episode of the Orichalcos arc, and that was a lot of fun. Great episode. It was like 30 minutes long, and they did a great finale to that. But one of my favorite jokes in the entire Abridged is the episode during Waking the Dragons when Kaiba is dueling Alistair, and he's going to awaken Critias, but, it's Kaiba, so he's, like, bonding with his dragon, and then you have the Dark Magician Girl that's like, why does everyone always want to have sex in front of me? And I'm like, that nailed it, girl. That nailed it.
I just meant bond with it spiritually. Oh, jeez, why does everyone want to have sex in front of me?
It's just lovely, isn't it? Okay, so, unfortunately, I have to admit that when it comes to Dark Magician Girl card collecting, which you might just say, isn't that just Yu-Gi-Oh card collecting? Oh, no. It's like a separate thing. It's like kind of like its own little subgenre to all of Yu-Gi-Oh. I unfortunately only own 2 copies of the Dark Magician Girl. And I know many of you are scoffing at me in the comments right now. Oh, Matt, you beginner. I, in fact, own 8 copies of the Dark Magician Girl. And then you're gonna type that out, and I guarantee you someone's gonna reply to it and be like, get a seat, youngling. I just finished my collection of 35 copies of DMG, I remember a few years back, I watched a video, someone shared it on Facebook. It kind of went like semi-viral. It was a video of a kid that bought a super ridiculously rare version of the Dark Magician Girl. Like only a few copies were ever made, like that level of rarity. I think it was for like a tournament or something like way back in the day. So there weren't that many versions of this particular Dark Magician Girl. It might have been the Chinese or Japanese variant. I don't know. But this kid spent like $7,000 on this one card, this one version of the Dark Magician Girl, and he filmed it and he uploaded it to YouTube. And part of me was sitting there wondering, like, oh, do you not realize what's going to happen? And you know what? Hey, you know what? It's your money. Spend your money the way you want to spend it, man. It's like, fine. It's not for me. It's not for me. And I'm actually going to do an episode on Yu-Gi-Oh! Histories of the rarest card in the entire game. And I actually didn't know this. I've been doing some research the last few days, and I think I got a decent list of, like, the absolute rarest cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, I've heard about, like, Magic the Gathering, like, the infamous, not really infamous, but, it's infamous in the terms of just how much money it costs, but, like, the alpha version of the Black Lotus, like, that's a card that you can find eBay listings for, like, $100,000 or more, that ridiculously kind of expensive. So, I'm doing a research on that, and I'll get that video out shortly. But hey, spending $7,000 on basically a piece of cardstock paper with some glitter on it, that's not for me, but I get it. And one of the comments on that video that just made me laugh was someone commented like, dude, you could take that money that you spent on this one card, give it to a girl to dress up like the Dark Magician Girl and have sex with you. like that amount of money is like, hey, I have $7,000. Could you, give it to like a prostitute or something? Could you please dress up like this character and then have sex with me? And she'd be like, sure, whatever you want, baby. So that made me laugh. But really, I have no animosity for that kid. Spend whatever much you want on whatever. It's your money. Okay. But that kind of opens up a whole new world of imagination when it comes to card collecting. Now, when it comes to these specific cards that I own, one of them was actually sent to me by a fan, and another one I actually got myself, and this was from the Rise of Destiny, the Legacy pack. I think that's what it was called, Rise of Destiny. It was like a pack that you could get for like 10 or 15 bucks, and there were 3 booster packs in there, but there was also one of 4 rare cards, and one of those 4 rare cards, you didn't know which one you were going to get, so it's like 1 in 25% chance you're going to end up getting the Dark Magician Girl. But I think that was in fact the most reliable and the cheapest way to get one growing up at that particular time, because I didn't have my own money. I was relying on my dad or my mom buying me packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I went to Walmart or any store I went to. So if I wanted to get my hands on a Dark Magician Girl, the most reliable way were to be ask for the Rise of Destiny pack when that was out, and then I would get the 3 boosters, and maybe I would have like a 25% chance of getting the Dark Magician Girl. So that's where both of these came from. One of them a fan sent me, and the other one I got, but I actually have a story revolving around the Dark Magician Girl and how I got this card, okay? Actually, I have a few stories revolving around the Dark Magician Girl. So one night I was up, it was around 1 a.m., and I got kind of, so I went on Google image search. Okay, I'm sorry. Who's that monster card? It's Toon Dark Magician Girl! Alright, anyway, So I went to Walmart one day with my dad, and the Rise of Destiny pack was out. I remember that thing because it had the creator on it. By the way, a card I never owned growing up. The Creator. I don't think he was really that good. It's just he sounded cool and he looked cool. The Creator. But anyway, I saw that and I'm thinking, ooh, that looks cool. And then I look on the back and it's like, what? I could get the Dark Magician Girl in this pack? Dad, you have to buy it for me. You have to buy it for me. I think it was like 10 or 15 bucks. I don't remember the exact price, but he did end up buying it for me. And lo and behold, I ended up getting the Dark Magician Girl. But the story is not over yet. This was right around the time that my parents were divorced. At this point, don't worry, it's getting kind of dark. It's not, don't worry. My parents were divorced at this point though, and it was like a year or two after I got this card. I kind of stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, I was getting, into like 14, 15 years old, and I was like, just not, I wasn't feeling it anymore. It was actually kind of sad because I'm like, I don't get any entertainment watching the anime on Saturday mornings anymore. It just feels like, the magic is gone. So I kind of put all my cards away in a big plastic bin under my bed. And I didn't touch them for a few years. My mom was dating a guy by the name of Ian at this point. And he had a son named Aiden. And Aiden was a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! He was like 7 or 8 years old, so one time when Aiden was over here, I actually just gave him all of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. I took out this big plastic tin under my bed, and I'm like, you like Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't play the card game anymore. Here you go. And he took them all, and he was happy, really, really big grin on his face, this like 8-year-old kid. And my mom broke up with him shortly after that. They only went on like 1 or 2 dates together. So all my cards were gone. And it took me a few months until I realized that was a really stupid thing to do. I mean, I felt good. I'm fine with it because, I brought happiness to a little kid's day and stuff. But I'm like, damn it! All my Sacred Beasts were in there, my Jinzo, all the good crowd cards. Not every single card was in there, but there was a lot that were in there. So I felt really crappy. And so, this was several years after the Rise of Destiny packs. They had already been discontinued, but I was bummed out that I lost my Dark Magician Girl because she was in there too, and I'm like, crap, I don't have a Dark Magician Girl anymore. So one day though, I was walking in Walmart. This is much later in life. This was probably when I was in late high school, maybe even early college, and I stumbled upon, there was actually some like back stock of something. They do these a few times. They'll get like these older starter decks and mark them down at Walmart. And I actually saw a Rise of Destiny. There was only one there, and it was marked down to like $7. And I'm like, holy crap! This is the one where you can get the Dark Magician Girl. But there's only one here, and it's discontinued, so it's very unlikely I'm ever going to get another one of these. So it's either I buy this and get another copy of Dark Magician Girl, or I have to go on the internet and buy another copy, and and I still didn't really have a lot of money at this point, so I'm like, okay, here we go. First, last, and only chance for romance. I bought it, I opened it up, and I didn't get it. No, I'm just kidding. I got it! I'm like, yeah! 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 So, these are the only 2 copies I still own. Maybe I have another copy sitting around somewhere. I have a lot of cards I don't really pay attention to. I think there's actually a few common variants of these I got in, like, the starter decks and everything. Like, I got the Legendary Dragon starter deck, and I know for a fact there's a copy of her in there. But when it comes to, like, not going to, the starter packs, the decks that you're guaranteed to get her in terms of the ones that are just, chance that you might get her, these are the only 2 I got. So, yeah, now, let's actually talk about what she does. How about we do that? Let's talk about her effect. Okay, so, her effect's actually really shitty. Yeah, it's not that great of an effect, considering, how much has been built up around her. I think maybe even the creators of her were just like, when Takahashi came up with her, maybe he was just like, wait, did Takahashi? Yeah, Takahashi had to create her. I guarantee he did, because I think later on he was going to re-release, like, a specific artwork of her, and that was actually one of the copies of the Dark Magician Girl that never made it to an English release. Because you know how in America, whenever we get a copy of her, we have to do the horrible, horrible thing that's just the absolute travesty of mankind. I lose faith every time I look at these cards. We had to censor her cleavage. Yeah, because look at all of that two-dimensional Dark Magician Girl cleavage. Can't have that in a children's card game. So we had to censor her in all American versions of her. But this one specific version that Takahashi designed, he's like, nope, I'm not letting you censor her. I'm not letting you take them away another time. So that's just one, we just don't have it in American version. So Takahashi also, I feel, has a connection to her in a spiritual way. I'm picturing Takahashi's bedroom right now, decked out with, like, a life-sized replica of Dark Magician Girl. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about her actual effect. Okay, so Dark Magician Girl will gain 300 attack points for each Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos that happens to be in either player's graveyard. That's it. That's it. She's got a base attack of 2,000, defense is 1,700. Not really all that great in terms of attack points, plus she requires a tribute, though there are so many ways to get her to the field easier now. That's not even a concern anymore, but you know what I mean. Like, the actual effect, not really that great. Now, when Yugi first used the Dark Magician Girl in the anime against Arcana, or was it Arcana? I want to say it's Arcana, and then 4Kids just messed that up and named him Arcana, but that wouldn't be the only thing they butchered during that duel with the, remember the, Dark Energy Discs? Yeah, remember those? Yeah, those are Dark Energy Discs, Yugi. They'll cut into your flesh and not harm you in any way, but send you to the Shadow Realm. Whoa, Shadow Realm! But anyway, when he used it against Arcana, the way he won was like, oh, well, I have the power of the Dark Magician Girl, woohoo! And she gains, 300 attack for each, Dark Magician in our graveyards. But he only had one in his graveyard, so it went up to 2,300. And Arcana's laughing, because he's like, aha, Yugi, you only have the one Dark Magician. But he's like, no, Arcana, it works for both of our graveyards. So it went up even higher, and that's how Yugi won, fangirly magic attack. Okay. Now, let's think about the actual effect, though, in the context of the game, alright? First off, when this card was released, Magician of Black Chaos, I actually have him over here because I'm planning an episode on ritual monsters, so that'll be really fun. But, I got, like, Zera the Mant and all these really, unique ritual monsters in here, but at the time of Dark Magician Girl's release, Magician of Black Chaos actually didn't even exist yet in the English TCG, so, might not even existed in the Japanese yet. So already that's half of the requirements that are completely irrelevant because you can't do it. So pretty much gains 300 attack for each Dark Magician you have in either player's graveyard. So if you just happen to have 3 Dark Magicians in your graveyard, and your opponent also has a spellcaster deck, and also just happens to have 3 Dark Magicians in his graveyard, congratulations. Dark Magician Girl now has like 4,800 attack points, and that's something pretty good. But once again, it's just attack points. It doesn't provide any kind of the same deal with Gate Guardian. In a way, it doesn't provide any protection against magic or trap cards. Now, the difference between her and Gate Guardian is that this is an entire archetype, the Magician archetype, that has a lot of support in terms of field spells, spell cards, trap cards. I mean, it's got a bunch of things. Other cards that can run support. There's a retrained version of Dark Magician Girl that has a bunch of new stuff to it. There's an XZ version of Dark Magician Girl. Magi Magician Gal. There's all the different, like, Lemon Magician Girl, an Apple Magician Girl that got released during Dark Side of Dimensions. So there's a bunch of different versions. There's Gaga Girl, which you'll be going gaga over this girl. Okay, I'm gonna hit myself for that one too. Alright, that's the one thing I hit myself. We did everything else in this episode. That's where I draw the line. Like, alright, that's a lame joke. But okay. So now in the anime, even beyond the first series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Going into GX, we also had to include the Dark Magician Girl. She appeared as a character in GX and could communicate with, like, one of the students. I think it was also stated there, and this might have also been a 4Kids thing, that Yugi was in fact the only person that had the Dark Magician Girl in their deck, and it turned out that they were actually, it was like the actual spirit incarnation of the Dark Magician Girl, although I don't believe she spoke in that variant in the GX version the same way she did during the Waking the Dragons arc. Also in Bonds Beyond Time, I also think they spoke there. One of the few times the cards actually directly talk, outside of, like, grunts and stuff. Like, I remember in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! I was just watching some early Yu-Gi-Oh! The other day, when Joey would play, like, here's Masaki, the legendary swordsman, or Tiger Axe, or Axe Raider. Joey has a lot of cards in his deck that involve axes, but anyway, he'll play, like, Axe Raider, and then Axe Raider in the 4Kids version, he'll make that you know, he'll make those grunt sound effects. So that was kind of, you know, weird. But in terms of actual talking, the cards don't speak much. But in Bonds Beyond Time, I believe they summoned them, and the Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, they had like an exchange of dialogue. Like, Dark Magician's Girl's like, oh, it looks scary, what are we gonna do? And Dark Magician is like, we'll just follow our paths as magicians and everything will be true. So in terms of like their actual inspiration, like what they're based off of, in Millennium World we find out that it's in fact Mana, who is the spirit of the Dark Magician Girl, and Mahad, who is the spirit of the Dark Magician. It was actually really cool to see, because Mahad was the previous user of the Millennium Ring, and during his final battle he combined his Ba and his Ka together to become the Dark Magician. And then it all makes sense why the Dark Magician is Yugi's like favorite card and why he uses it so often, and it's like his guardian. That's like Mahad's spirit all throughout the millennia, you know, guiding the Pharaoh and lending aid to him in combat. So that was like a really cool way they tied that up. And then Mana was Mahad's assistant, apprentice magician. And so that's the whole thing. The Dark Magician Girl is the apprentice of the Dark Magician. Pretty cool, I know. So, that's pretty much the initial stuff I wanted to cover with her. And I say initial stuff because I really feel, in my heart of hearts, that I'll be making another video centered around the Dark Magician Girl at some point. Like, maybe I'll really delve into the card lore, because I didn't really go into the archetype of the magicians all too much, because like I said, there's just so much stuff with that. There are so many cards that involve the Dark Magician Girl. Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, hello, I didn't even reference that. Magician's Valkyria, which I like to think is the Dark Magician Girl's older and flatter sister, you know, or maybe that's her grown up. I don't know. There's way more stuff to cover with the Dark Magician Girl. I wanted to make this video now, because I'm on vacation right now. I'm in Florida basking in the sun, my, you know, pale skin probably getting, you know, torched. But I'm like, you know what, I haven't really been on vacation. I haven't been on vacation in a while, and I've never even flown on an airplane before. So I started to think, I'm like, you know, the odds are very, very low anything could happen to me. But let's say something did happen to me. What's the one video you want to make sure the masses get to see, Matt? What's that one video you want to make diggity damn sure? Like, the last video you're gonna make, what's it gonna be? Video about the Dark Magician Girl. Okay. No, I'm fine. I'm just like, you know, I should get this one done before I go. You know, okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know below how much you appreciate the Dark Magician Girl, and also how much you appreciate her, just in general. There'll be another video about this. I'm not even, honestly, because this is, like, once again, she has transcended the paper. She has transcended the card stock, okay? She is her own character in the Yugi-verse. There are fanfics aplenty written about her. In fact, I haven't actually read any of them. I know they're out there. I don't even need to go on fanfiction.net to know they exist. But let me just throw out there one of them right now. Like I said, I haven't even checked into this, but I guarantee out there somewhere, there is a fanfic where Yugi, you know, not Yami Yugi, not Atem, Yugi, just regular old adorable Yugi, he's sitting in his bed one night. And he's sad. He's like, you know, Taya turned me down again. Great, this sucks. I know in the actual context they're kind of an item. Whatever, just roll with it, okay? And then Yugi takes out his dueling deck, the thing that is the most precious to him in his entire life. And he holds up the Dark Magician Girl. And he's like, I wish you were real. And then she, you know, the Millennium Puzzle glows, and she appears in Yugi's room, and then, you know, they go from there. You know, I guarantee you, without even checking, there are at least 5 fanfics with that premise. I guarantee you. I'm gonna go check right now. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Yeah, we'll be back with another one of these, but just wanted to get the initial stuff out there now. Later, everybody. Pick up your Funko Pops today. These are actually really cool. Sorry, Yugi.